Good afternoon, YouTube. So, I spent the night here at Marietta, Georgia. We have a company terminal here. And so they, after I was here for a while, they sent a pre-planned load that picks up here at the Marietta terminal, and then that delivers at 3 a.m. in the morning in Orlando. So it's pushing 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm going to leave here probably in about another maybe half hour. I'll leave here, and then I'm trying to time it so that I don't start my 14-hour clock too early, and hopefully I'll have a chance to, I'll at least be able to get to the place. It's, as I think I said in the video I put up last night, since it delivers at 3 a.m. And it's, you know, the place is in a residential area, it kind of makes it difficult to, you know, and they don't have any overnight parking, so it kind of makes it difficult to deliver to. So in any case, I just received a rather disturbing phone call from my mother. It seems that my dad has a subdural hematoma, and that's as a result of that accident. You know, they were rear-ended, I don't know, probably a month, it's been more than maybe a month and a half ago now, or maybe even longer. They were rear-ended down in Texas in their car, and so he received, you know, he's, I guess, you know, this injury happened, and it's just been slowly, kind of, the blood has been slowly building up. A subdural hematoma is it's a blood, you know, it's sort of a collection of blood, or it can even be a blood clot, you know, around the brain. And so they're doing, I think they did, she said they did a CAT scan, because they can either do a CAT scan or an MRI to find it. Whenever they did the CAT scan on him right after the accident, they were more concerned about his back and his neck, and they didn't do any kind of a brain scan or a head scan. So, in any case, she called me from the hospital, and you know, the doctor, you know, they have a brain surgeon that'll determine how they're going to treat it. And, you know, so since his occurred over a long period of time, it would be called a chronic subdural hematoma, which is actually, if you're going to get a subdural hematoma, that's a better kind to get. If you get one that's acute means that it's just, you have a head blow and you've got the subdural hematoma right away. Those are very dangerous. But if you've got one that you know, is chronic, that's kind of happened over a longer period of time, those people recover, you have a better chance of recovering from those, and you know, they're more easily treatable. So, you know, she'll call me back a little bit later after the doctor comes in, but right now they took him to the emergency room, so they've admitted him. I think they've admitted him to the hospital, and you know, so this, they might have been able to find this had they done the right type of scan to start with. They might have been able to find it. Maybe they would have, maybe they wouldn't. You know, because this thing has been building over a period of time, and he just now, I think in the last day or two, he started getting weak and losing his balance, and Mom said that she's noticed that he's kind of slowed down. His speech, you know, speech is not as good, or maybe it's a little bit slurred. I'm not sure about that. So she knew that something was happening. So anyway, that's what's going on. So they'll call me back a little bit later and let me know what's going on. So now it's many hours later. It's about 2:43 a.m. Eastern Time, And so I have arrived at the place here in Orlando where the load that I have, that I picked up in Marietta earlier, delivers. You can see my windshield's got a few bugs on it. Nobody's here yet as far as employees go. I don't see any activity yet. As I say, if you look at the GPS, it says it's 2:44 a.m. So supposedly they're going to show up about 3 a.m. But you can see that there's 1, 2, 3 other trucks here besides me that are waiting to unload. Well, somebody turned the light on about, I don't know, 10 minutes or so till 3, and the guy came out and had us all back into doors. And so it's right now, it's about 3:08. The truck that I was parked beside there, you can see, if you look through there, you can see he's got his hood open. He's not having too much luck. He tried starting his truck. There you saw the lights come on. He's tried to start his truck, and I heard it. The starter was turning over very slowly. And you can see the lights kind of dim. I don't know if he's trying to crank it or not, but he's having a problem. I don't know if it's actually a low battery or if he's actually got a starter problem. That's really hard to say. Well, they got the load unloaded, and if I can get that to focus, there we go. So at first I was thinking about going to DeLand, Florida, because we have a terminal there, but then they sent a load that picks up at Lake Wales, Florida, and so I was able to come down here to on Interstate 4, and so I found a rest area. It was on the way to a truck stop, so I found this rest area, and it's late enough in the morning now. It's like 6:05 a.m. if you look on the GPS right there. So it's late enough where somebody had already left, and so got really lucky. There was a parking spot, so I went ahead and took it. I could have continued to go. There's like 4 miles from here, there's a Love's truck stop, and then some sort of truck stop across the street, which is probably both of those would probably be pretty busy. I know that Love's stays pretty busy, so I just, I'll take the first thing I can get. So there was a parking spot here, and so I took it. So now I have a place to at least take my break. And so as I said, I stopped at this rest area, and I'm about to go to bed. A little update on my dad. Of course, he's in the hospital, and they can't operate on him Tuesday. What they found was that he had a blood clot on his brain. I talked to my younger brother and my mother, and he's got this blood clot. They did a CT scan, and it goes from the center of his forehead, on the left side, center of his forehead, all the way around to the back. So it's putting pressure on the left hemisphere, which that's pretty serious. It's called a chronic subdural hematoma. That's not as bad as if you have acute. An acute one would be if you fell in your bathtub, for example, and you hit your head, and then you get a massive blood clot on your brain. That a lot of people don't recover from that, or the recovery rate, it's not very good. The prognosis isn't good with an acute one, but with a so-called chronic one that develops slowly over time, and that's what he had, or what he has. the prognosis is much better. So they can't operate. Today was Monday. They can't operate now it's Tuesday, of course. The doctor's tied up on Tuesday. He's just backed up. They're going to do another CT scan just to kind of check on him. Of course, they have him in the hospital, and they've kind of got him. Don't want him moving around at all, or what have you. They're going to operate Wednesday, and so I guess the way they do that, they'll drill a couple of small holes in his skull, and then I don't know exactly where they do it, but then the plan is to get that blood clot out of there, and and of course, if you read about subdural hematomas, one of the potential side effects afterwards, after the pressure has been drained out, then there can be seizure problems. So he may have to go on. He'll probably have to go on some sort of an anti-seizure medication. And I don't know. From what I read, that varies. But it's pretty serious. It's a pretty serious thing, and had they done a CT scan on his head, I don't know, maybe they would have found this problem initially right after the accident. Maybe they would have, I don't know. But it's been developing slowly over the past since the accident, about the last month and a half, I think, is when the accident occurred, about maybe a month and a half ago, or I don't know. My time kind of all runs together. So, but anyway, it's and then I was talking to my youngest brother, and he said that the doctor told him that as you age, of course, your brain actually shrinks. And so the doctor told him that were he younger, he would probably already be dead because of the pressure to the left hemisphere. But since his brain had, he's 80 years old, so his brain's been shrinking, and so there's more room in there. So there's more room for the blood clot, and I guess the thing's pretty massive. So. Pretty serious stuff, so it's, I guess the moral of the story is if you get involved in an accident like that, it's probably best to go ahead and insist that the doctor kind of scan everything, have them scan, because you can do the scanning now, because the CT scan or an MRI scan, either one would work. And I guess the moral of the story is, if you have a rear end accident like that, or any kind of a severe impact accident in a motor vehicle, or let's say you just fall down and hit your head, if you hit it really hard, it's probably a good idea to insist on a scan. These different scans. So. But, we just have to, this is something I think he'll probably recover from. He may have some lingering issues from it. He had been complaining about the back of his neck hurting, not so much headaches or anything, but I do remember the last time I was home, he was complaining about the back of his neck, and I guess he was complaining about that again yesterday. And that's obviously probably from pressure from this blood clot. So, serious stuff. They'll, they can do quite a bit with modern medicine these days. So, just, wait and see what happens. So anyway, from a rest area along I-4 in between Orlando and Tampa, I'll catch you later.